Okay, let's start. Today, we are going to also understand one more concept of this Spring Data JPA or a REST API, you can say. Whenever we are building backend REST API for any microservices, sometime we need make a different kind of relationship. Like yesterday, we did exercise for one-to-one mapping, right? One-to-one relationship, right?
Right.
So yesterday we cover key if we have a one objects or one database tables, they can make a relationship with the other as a one-to-one relationship, right? So might be this is known as a one-to-one study. We cover it, right? Similarly, some situation where might be case we have a one object and they can interact. They may be relationship with the multiple object, right? Maybe this way, right? One object can relate to the multiple object. For example, let us maybe this is the author. Okay, author is the one object, right? Author, they can write the books, right? Maybe they can write one book, maybe write two books, maybe write three
Right.
books, right? So this author have a list of books, right? Maybe written one book or two book. In this case, this author, one author have a relations with the multiple book, right? They have a write the four book, five book, 10 book, right? So such
Right.
kind of relationship where we have a one one object relate to the multiple object. So this is known as a one to many mapping or one to many relationship, right?
Right.
Is it clear? So similarly, let's going to understand how in our applications, whenever such situation come where one object can relate it to the multiple object. Previously, we understand one object can relate it to the another object. Like we studied one user have a one address, right? Similarly,
Right.
now one author can have a related to the book, but not just one book, can be two book, can be 10 book, right?
Right.
So this is the relationship. So notice this is author is a one person, human being. Book is also one object. But surely, what kind of relationship between this author and book? Surely, this is not a easy relationship, right? Because you cannot say कि author is a book or book is a author. We cannot say, right? Because this is a different category of object, different category of object, right? But surely here we have a fit the relationship here has a relationship, right? Author have a book, maybe one book, two book, three book. Author have written 10 books, right? So
Right.
this is known as a composition relationship, right? Composition, right? So here the relationship between two groups of object, one authors can have a relationship with the books in the form of composition relationship. Yeah, has a relationship, right? Already we have covered what is the is a relationship and what is a has a relationship our core Java concept, right? So almost you notice ki many core Java concept we are just revisiting again and again, right? It's
Yeah.
clear. Any doubt, any confusion? What
Yeah.
today we
But
are going to solve?
so this one is one to many.
One to many, yes.
So one table has relationship. Sorry. Uh,
One
A.
uh, author is the book author and book. They have a two object. One is the book object, one is the author object. So what kind of relationship between author and books? So this is the relationship of written. Author written books, right? Means ki author have written one book, uh, author have written two books, three books, right? They can write many books, right?
That's called many.
That's many,
Okay. Yeah.
correct? So this is known as a one to many relationship. There is such
Right.
relationship, has a relationship, but you talk about the cardinality counting that maybe ki one object have a many relationship to the other object. Is it clear? Might be they have write nothing book. Author can be write nothing book. Might be can write one book. Might be can 10 book, right? Anything. Many means here can be zero, can be one, can be two, can be three, right? Depend upon the author capacity, author skill, right?
Hmm.
So here you have an option. You can set zero or one or two, whatever you want, right? But in the case of one-to-one mapping, you say, yeah, one uh, user must have one address. So this is one-to-one relationship. But here say one-to-many relationship. So you can both notice both is a kind of your hazard relationship. Yesterday we discussed one-to-one. This is also hazard relationship. And we discussed today one-to-many. This is also hazard relationship. You have remembered in our core Java session ki has a also have a two category of has a relationship: strong relationship and loose relationship. Yeah, strong coupling or loose coupling, right? So you notice here the relationship between the one to one is a very strong. We are saying, hey user, each user must have one address. Without address, we cannot say ki our user can exist. That such relationship means ki you are making very strong relationship, right?
Right.
But here, author just started. Maybe he written one book or nothing written book, but still he is an author. Book maybe exist or book cannot be exist, right?
Right.
So this is kind of a loose, kind of a weak relationship between this author and book, right? So this is the terminology has a relationship, weak relationship, strong relationship, strong coupling. These are the OOPS terminology, object oriented principle terminology. Same terminologies are used by the our web application frameworks or database. Same concept are implemented by the database as well as, right? So all the things we are discussing now in the Java side, same is transform map to the database, and database support these relationships, right?
Yeah.
So today we are going to just implement this scenario one to many relationship using the Spring Data JPA, right?
Right.
So let's start the application. Okay. Still have any question, doubt what we are going to do?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start a again spring.io spring. Let's start with a spring initializer. Okay, and start with a spring initializer and just create one basic application, right? As usual, this is the Maven project, and this is just like package them anything. Here today say one to many, right?
Many. Yeah.
Uh, One to many. Okay, one to many mapping. Just 21 left side done, and as a dependency we need a REST API, then Spring Web, we need a JPA, Java Persistent uh, frameworks, and we need MySQL. Okay, need a MySQL, and we need a Lombok for the setter get, right? It's clear. Yesterday we discussed all about thing. Why is a Lombok? Just generate the setter getter me my Java class, right? So let's I download this application and download. Okay, no, just download here. Yeah, download it and go to this download folder and just unzip, extract all, extract all, done. And now inside folder, I am just starting this application. Okay, let's test it. And we already know whenever we are going to connect to the any database, new table, new database, we have to follow this configuration for the database user and roles, and again application property configuration, basic configuration. So we are going to do the same this configuration, right? Or we can create anything. So let's first check my application is ready, and let at time I create the MySQL, log in the MySQL, and this is the MySQL, and just password of the root, and let's I can create the one new database or what? Create database, or let's create a one-to-one mapping, right? Uh, just for testing, let's say one-to-one mapping, right? Maybe just copy these three command.
And run it in
Ah,
its MySQL.
just change the, maybe I want to different database here, not the same here. Study
Right,
we
right.
create mappings. Let's create one-to-one mapping, right?
One too many.
One to many, one uh, to
Too
one to
many.
many.
Yeah.
Okay, one to many mappings. Okay, this is the one database. So one to many. So this change here one to mapping, and username. Let's use same username but change the database name right here. Two places we have to change the database. So let's create the this database. Here MySQL, just create database. Okay, created, and after that just assign the role. User already exists, right? Okay, so this is done, and after that we have to just go to the application property and use this configuration, right? For configuration, go to the our database,
Right.
application property, cancel resources, application property, just update. And now the database name I change. Database name is the one to many.
Right.
The here just we change to one to many. DB user, same user I'm using DB user, DB user, right? That's it. So
Right.
this is the basic application, and let's just start an POM file. Let's check the POM file. Here's the POM file. In the POM file, we have a like first as data JPA, Spring Web, and J. Here, just get the complete version of MySQL, Google. By default, they are not MVN, MySQL connector, right? Java, and here just let's the latest one. This is the 33 latest one. Just copy this and update here. Say, hey, this is a full version, right? Here, just simple dot .j should be Java, right? It's
Right.
done, Java connector done, and Lombok done. And we want, at least we want to check this API from the Swagger, right? Add the Swagger annotation, like Spring Doc. Okay, Spring documentation, and just open, and just let's this dependency, right? Started we discuss, right? This
Right.
dependency. Uh, this is copy, yes, copy, and just update one more dependency here, right? Yes. This is the extra things we have added. I want to test from the this API from the Swagger, right? So this is the basic dependency we have covered, and just again refresh this so that all the dependencies can be updated, right?
Right.
So this is the basic configuration, your application property configuration you did, and your POM changes you can did, and database you can create this database, and you can say use maybe one to mapping, and so tables, no tables created, right? No tables. So let's keep now our I think server is started or not. I'm not started. Oh, let me start the application. Let's check basic configuration all are fine or not, right?
Right.
before starting the right code, right? Okay, one too many M should be capital. Okay. Hmm. Yes, it should be started. Hopefully, no any problem. Let me check. Server Tomcat. They are connecting to the database. JDBC driver default done. Server is started. There is no problem. It's okay, right? Good. So good. So as usual, today we are going to discuss the creator two object. One class author. Okay. Okay. One class author and author may have a what? So as usual, one author ID, long ID, and similarly author have a name. Okay, a string name and a string. What other? Author just sufficient, and they have a written books, right? So let's one create object here, class book. Okay, book and book. Similarly, each book have a some book ID, right?
Yeah.
Private long long ID and private maybe required book ID, book name, model, types of book, model types book, right?
Name, book name.
Book name, uh, string, book name, and any other things, maybe book, types of book, IT book, which kind of books, right? You can write, add anything, right?
Right.
So now, question now there are two more models. One is the author, this is the one object, and this is the books. So till now, these are two independent class. There is a no relationship, right? Because
Right.
whenever compiler read this code, okay, understand, hey, this is the one author object. Okay, this is the one author object. That's good. Compiler read this code, oh, this is the book, another Java object. Oh, this is okay, this is another Java book object. But I want to make some kind of relationship between those. Author, how this author is related to this book, right? How know ki how author know ki this is my book, right? So we have something make a relationship between the two objects. So for relationship, generally we have understand two kind of relationship: is a relationship and has a relationship, right? Has a relationship. So this surely author and book there is no is a relationship kind of thing, right? Look like cannot say ki author is a book or book is a author, right? The both are not possible. So this relationship surely we can avoid here. Now next option we have only one has a relationship. Yes, author have a book. Yes, so here can say hey author you have a book. So you can say hey private we have a book, right? Book. Okay. But question ki author can have only one book or many book. Here say ki author can write many books. Here that means you want to more than one. Any variable you want to one maybe 0 1 2 3 4. So here question how many number of books I can say book 1 book 2 book 3 book 4. It is not a good option, right? We know whenever you want to managing storing more than one object, then we have to take the concept of collection, yeah, array list, right? So here we are going to say hey you have a books, but I can just say list of books. Okay, list of books, right? So here you are making relationship. What is why not list? L Java, yes, list. So notice now as a we are making relationships author class with the book class. Now compiler, whenever run this code, author, oh, no, the author is related to your book because this author have a list of books, right? It's clear.
Yeah.
Till now, there is a no confusion. Till now, it's okay from Java side. Okay, we have understand this is the has a relationship between the two author and book object. Now, our responsibility, the same kind of structure already supported by my database because this information finally I am going to store somewhere. So why how to say, hey database, can you understand this? What I'm explaining you? Yes. So first we have to we now this is our Java objects. This is the Java side, and now this is the database side. So somehow this relationship we have to communicate our database because finally these value are stored in our my database. So database should aware ki how they are going to store. So here I am not going to directly interact to inform database, hey database, this is your author table, this is your book table, make a relationship between that, right? We're not going to. I am going to use here Spring Data JPA. I'm say, hey, already we have a JPA framework, Java Persistent API. This API help us to communicate my Java word to your database word. So here we are in a intermediate soft person like JPA, Java Persistent API. Our Java Persistent API say, hey, just give some extra information and I can inform your database, hey database, please uh, make your data structure so that you can accommodate, you can store this relationship data, right? So how to use the JPA? So here you can use the annotation. Here say, hey, this is the entity, okay? Entity. That means this is the your table become. And this is say, hey, this is also come stored in a different table, entity. So now database understand ki now we have to create two tables, right? So but here say how these two were to a relationship. You have to say, hey database, our author tables are related to the book table with a one, mapping one to many, right? Here we are just informing, hey JPA, please make a whatever I'm thinking in the Java side, also it's same inform to their database side. And generally, whenever you're creating any tables, just say ki this is the ID should be like a primary key. Here say this is the ID field and ID automatic generated. Always I'm not going to put value, right? Generated value. And here say name column, author name, name cannot be blank, right? So here say, hey, column, column, here say name cannot be blank and even it cannot be null, right? Unique equal to true, right? So this information now we are annotating, we are giving extra information our JPA, our Spring framework. Hey Spring framework, please inform this information to the my database. That is done. Similarly, in the book entity, let's this is the your ID field and it should be auto generated, right? Generated and the name and type. Here say ki this should also not be blank something or you can say, right? Here you can say, hey, book name cannot be column. I'm not allow nullable and even say, and here say column, column, and here say not null. That must be someone write the lots of here just for learning purpose, but here book have a lots of field you can write. Book ISBN number, book author, book type, book dates,
Right.
right price, lots of thing additional field you can add here. But our understanding purpose just minimum field so that key we save our time, right? But
Right.
similarly here author have a lots of detail, author name, author details like email ID address, contact number, everything you can add here, right?
Right.
So till now here what
Oh,
we cover?
because it's one too many. That's why
Yeah,
you put a list array.
right here. Might be they have a list. If you are not writing this is one book. List means collection. They contain the multiple value. So
Collection.
you
Yeah. Yeah. I got
yeah,
that.
you are not notice this lines. This lines say this lines is a make a relationship between your author object to the book object. So,
Right.
because author say I have a book, but not only one book. I have a list of book. Means ki I maybe one author object created, and this author can in book table book one entry, book two entry, book three entry. I created three book, right? Three book,
Right.
but three book all can be related to only one author, right? So look like this author have all the books, right?
Right.
So they have a look like one author. I have a multiple books. So here your list is this list of books. Author detail is just one author object, right? So
Right.
this is a hey one to many relationship. So this lines is the making a relationship. A same line. This one to many relationship. We are just telling our database please maintain this relationship, right?
Right.
And whenever say ki, hey, I am going to create here, whenever I am going to create this author the same time this book also created. That I'm say here say your cascade operation, right? Whenever I am going to insert cascade operation would be just all as of now, right? Here. So these things we have to just tell. So now our Java model design complete, or similarly your database model both done. So whenever we are using any framework, maybe not a Spring framework, a Spring Data JPA framework, it just save our times. Here you notice I just created one Java class. Similarly, our Java model design completed, and also my database design also completed. Here our database design done the same time. So we as a Java developers so just save our time, right? We are not going to create anything, right? How to writing the create table script, adding validations, adding relationship, create script for this. All the things automatically taken care by your application framework, right? So till now any confusion what this relationship between the author and book, and how we are making a relationship via this keyword via this is a hygiene relationship, right?
Right. Right.
These things already we cover in our core Java class many times, right? Because notice here just we are writing Java code and just additional metadata, right? Metadata. So let's test it, right? And so I'm going to create just author repository. So so here notice we need a setter getter method, set name, set book, set game. So for that I need the lombok. I'm saying hey, generate the setter method for it, setter method,
Right.
and also generate the getter method, uh, getter method, right? Just notice
We already added the Lombok.
in this our POM file, we already added in the Lombok, right? This is notice here. This is the my Lombok project Lombok, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, good. So here, same thing. Setter getter we can also generate from here, right? Right. This is
Right.
done. But just this Lombok annotation help us to unnecessary writing extra code, right?
Right.
Code become a small and as small as easily understandable, right?
Right.
So as of now, you good. So now let's do. So JPA required your repository. Now you say, ki, hey JPA, I need your method, save method, get method, delete method, remove method. So how you can get? Because we need something from where you can call your method, save method, get method, delete method. So for that, we just use the inheritance. So here say, ki, hey, this is my interface, my author repo, right? Author repo, okay, repository, extend inheriting I'm the JPA repository, right?
Right. Right.
So we are just going to say, hey, this is my author class and primary key is along, right? Just it.
Right.
So this is just help us so that I can use inheritance to use the existing JPA method. Which method? Same method, get method, delete method. That
Right.
save, get, deletes are talking to the database and saving in the database, permanent storage, right? Due to that, this
Right.
we have to write this line, one line, right? Now
Right.
now develop the REST API. So REST API, we are going to the REST controller, okay, and just class author controller, okay. Now author controller say, hey, you need a one uh, public. Let's get all authors. Okay, so say, hey, I need the list of author. Okay, author,
Right.
list of author, all. Okay, and here say just return. That means this now object need to operate. So how can call the save all method, get all method from the database? I want to get all the authors, right? So for that we need this object. So we can just say hey, uh, repo. Okay, repo, and simply say hey, just initialize from the constructor, right?
Right.
Okay, and here say
Right.
now this repository, and I say hey, return repo dot find all. Just
Hang on. Yeah, that's right.
this is the one my how to say this is the my one endpoint. How this is a simple method, but I want to say this should be one endpoint. How say? So say hey, this is the get mapping. I say this is the get mapping. Okay, get mapping. What is the URL? Just slash author authors, right? So yeah, good.
Right.
Now or now simple one method you can converted REST endpoint using this annotation, right? Right. So whenever I
Right.
run this, our application run, but we have not any authors. We are getting something blank, no author. Okay, let's test, right?
Because we have no data.
Till now we have not created the author. In our database, blank database, nothing exists, right? So we have to also write another API that support to create database. So now this is my authors. Hope should be there, no problem. It should be started. So let us internally, they are doing lots of things. Notice whatever the database design we done, DAO design internally, they created author table, author books table, and one author sequence and book sequence, and lots of database table they created internally. Added the whatever the
Right.
unique key column we added there, added the unique key name, unique key something, right? Relationship, foreign key, reference key, all the things, whatever the database things, reference key, foreign key, internally each and everything taken care by your application.
Right.
So all the database designing automatic done by your JPA framework, right?
Right.
And just let's go to the my browser, and here say localhost, and no, not a hello. This is my no. What is the my URL? My URL is
Uh,
authors.
authors.
Authors. So this is the confusion. Sometime we're not getting any data, but we know already in our form we have introduced this Swagger UI. So let's test from Swagger, right? So Swagger, this documentation say you can use this slash HTML, this URL, right?
Right.
So just say hey, and you are getting Swagger URL. Now only one endpoint get, right? And you are testing here, hey, try out and get. I am not getting any value, right? So let's create one post endpoint so that we can create data, right? So let's do and develop my post endpoint, right? So how to develop? Hey, say post endpoint, this is public, and return one author, okay? And just create and create need one author object. So here say author object, and we have return repo dot save our author, right? Save
Right.
author. Okay, this is our post endpoint. But how to know this is post endpoint? We have to annotate something. What happened? No. Okay, stop. So here say, hey, this is the post mapping. I want to create data, post data. What is the URL? Let's same URL as of now, right? This is a URL, same URL, but I want to this post data. But if user from the your browser, you want to save data to your database, your application, you have to put data here, right? This data we need in this object, right? Author object. So I say, hey, whatever the JSON object, just convert it to the my author object. So all to do, we can say, hey, whatever the request body, just give me as a annotation. So now our Spring framework give me complete author object. This author object contain what? Your by default name and list of books they contain, right? Okay.
Right.
So now it's post API done. Let's test it, right? and start them. It's too many. Starting. Database connection done. Started done. JPA done. All is done. So let's test our Swagger. Hey, refresh the Swagger, and Swagger give me the one more endpoint post. So notice here, Swagger always give you a two schema. In the database terminology with a schema, right? Here, two model. One is the book. Notice book have a your ID, name, type, and author have a ID, name, books, right? What is the books? Books, notice books is another object, right? So these are complete schema detail you have. Let's stop them. So I want to create a record. Notice post. Let's try out. Right. Notice I know ki ID automatic generated, so I cannot pass, right? And just let's author when. Okay. And book ID automatic created. I know. And the book name maybe programming. Okay. Java programming. Okay. Java programming type IT book, right? Here you can just information. Maybe I want to they return a two book, right? So one book and comma another book, right? Here you can say, hey, C plus plus maybe fiction book, maybe play something, right? Playing drama, okay, and maybe kind of a fiction book, okay, any kind of. So here notice in books we have a array, and you can multiple books you can create, maybe one more book, okay. Maybe we can maybe not here say it is a cartoon, okay. Cartoons is the kind
Right.
of maybe games types, okay. Uh, okay, any kind of books, right? So here you notice one author can have a multiple books, right? So here in this way, one book, two book, three book. So we have only one author brain, they have a multiple books, right? So notice, let's save this record, right? So our assumption, this should be go to the our author table, and this information must be go to then our books table, right? Because we have created two database table, right? And let's save, execute them. So notice these are the record created, and let's check from the get API. Now this is the get API, and just try put and execute them. Notice now we are getting the employee author brain, and this is set of books, right? They have three books, and let's check our database. What kind of database they have, right? So previously notice show tables, no database, show tables. Now notice get created author table and books table and relationship table author underscore books, right? So let's verify the data. Select star from author. Okay. So this is the author. I have only one author, right? Good. And let's check our book. Notice we have a three book, one, two, three book, different types of. And notice similarly, but notice how they are both are related to each other. Notice they have created one more table, relationship table. Say select star from this internally hyper your Spring Data JPA created one mapping table. So notice here say this author ID have a book ID 1, book ID 2, book ID 3. So this is the mapping table internally managed by your Spring Data JPA.
Right.
So notice this is a simple table. You select a star from author. Author have a bin, but I don't know what the book they written. So I know this is author ID 1. Okay, go to this mapping table. Okay, author ID 1, 1 have written book 1, 1 have written book 2, 1 have written book 3. So they know that this Ben have written 3 book due to this ID part, right? This is the mapping of book. This is the book ID. This is notice, this is the book ID, this is the book ID. This is the author ID, this is the author ID. So these two tables are related with this mapping table. So this is very unique concept in the database manage, right? Database say, hey, this is your author table, I am okay. This is your book table, I am okay, right? Book table. Book can be book here can be multiple author. Also, book can be multiple book, right? But how these two tables are related to? To say, okay, I am going to create one mapping table. I am so this is the your author ID. Oh, this is your author ID. What this author written a book? Which book they written? I am going to the book ID. So this is the book ID. This is the author ID. So they created this table. Notice here, author ID and book ID. Here, database know okay in this way these objects are related to this object. Notice the database internally implemented this way. It's clear. So this is known as a sometimes say this is the mapping table. And even let's you can create a more maybe author more books you can do. Let's create one more. So here you can say let's I'm create a book Rian, and maybe they have written uh, C++ book. Maybe they are written some uh, SQL book. SQL. Maybe this is also part of IT. Okay, they have just written 2 book, might be okay, not written 3, just remove them. So this Rayan have written 2 books, C++ and SQL both are the IT, and let's create them. Now it's created, and if you test from this get and just execute them, notice this is the our get API know ki we have to return this is the Ben have 3 books, right? This is the Rayan have only 2 books, right? So internally, notice now check this our author. Now author have a 2 entry. Author 1, author 2. What is the book? Book. Book have a multiple book. This is the book this and this is the different books. But how when books are those are mapping from this mapping table. This is the mapping table. Here they know ki, hey, this author ID 1 have a this 3 book and author ID 2 have a this 2 book, 4 and 5. The 4 and 5 books are written by author 2. So these are internally all your database table creation, making a relationship, unique constraints, all this taken care by your just Spring data, Spring framework using some basic annotation. Notice here just we added some kind of annotations where like here say one to many relationships, just one liner. And internally they are doing everything for you, right? So let's develop one more maybe delete endpoints. Okay, I want to delete some, right? Maybe delete mapping. Hey, hey, this is the delete mapping. Delete mapping. I here say like public void delete and just need the long delete id, and here I'm going to just delete author. So say hey repo dot delete by id, just pass the id and your author is deleted, and here you can say this we receive as a path variable, path per path variable. Okay, so now this delete endpoints are developed. Let's just stop them and restart. And in this way we have to develop any number of endpoints, and all the relationships are thing taken care by our Spring Data JPA. Yeah, Java Persistent API framework. And just let's it would be start. Yes, started. And let's go and check our Swagger. And here just refresh them, and so that we can get more endpoints. So stop. So notice we have a get endpoint, post endpoint, and delete endpoints. Let's check uh, author. Yeah, this is the author. Author one, author two. In this way, when we can create more, you can say you can create, or you can, let's say I want to create more. Maybe let's try out and create one author more. Maybe I can create. Let's just remove the ID author team, and they have written a book like science book, science book, science science book, science types of science, maybe let's see, science, maybe here the book,
Right.
physics book. Maybe they have written maybe some chemistry book. Any number of book they can write. Maybe they written chemistry book. Okay, these are the books. Just you shall say, hey, now just execute them. Now notice they are created, and if you again check, hey, give me the all the authors. They are returning all the authors. Okay, and notice whenever get API say get author, they return corresponding author as well as corresponding all the books they written. If you look the database, hey, say ki give me the author name. So if you notice author have a just name. You have a three author this, right? But what the corresponding books? How know ki these are the books of team? These are the books of something. Okay, maybe you can develop by id endpoint, author by id, you can get one author, right? But whenever I say ki, hi, give me the uh, uh, author id 52, the 52, what is the corresponding book? They refer this mapping table, right? They refer our mapping table. In this say ki, hey, author 52 have a two book, 52, 53. These are the book id. In the book tables you find these are the books detail. This is the book detail. This is the two physics and chemistry books, right?
Right.
So these mapping tables are maintained to making a relationship one to many. One, many. They go one, 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 two, two, 52, 52. Right? Even
Right.
you want to demand a specific one book, our framework internally know कि this author how many number of book written. Maybe get one, right? So here let's instead of say, hey, I want to just get one. Instead of delete, I need a just get mapping. Here say, give me the ID, right? ID,
Right.
whatever the ID. And so here we need a ID, and here say delete instead of say get one,
Right.
just one. And here should be written like a your author. And here say return a repo dot find by id, I pass id, right?
Right.
And this, okay, and here find by id might be incorrect, then that means they return optional, right? Might be you
Right.
return value found or maybe incorrect id, right? So let's just stop and check. If I pass, hey, I want to just books of author Ryan, but in the author table just have only one name. But system internally identified, hey, what the Ryan written all the books. How the make relationship using this table. Now let's our server started. Oh, sorry. So now, so these are the very, very, you can say framework just help us to developer to lots of things we can do very easily nowadays, right? So
Right.
now started, let's do your framework and test. Now we develop all these endpoints, get by ID, get, and here say, hey, which ID you pass? Let's key, I want to check the all authors, try out, check all authors, and let's see, I want to check the ID 2. What is the Rayan books, right?
Right.
So let's go and here pass, I want to 2, and they know ki 2 is the Rayan written these two book. So how a system internally identify? We got database, don't they know ki hey, author table is the Rayan ID 2. But what is the corresponding books? So they are going to check our mapping table. Internally, they are going to mapping table. Okay. Oh, Rayan 2, book author ID 2. This 2 and 2, this two book written 4 and 5. So what is the 4 and 5? Let's check the book. In the book, 4 and 5, these two books they written, right? So this
Right.
is the name come C++, this is the name come SQL. So internally, all the things taken care by your application, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's say I am going to delete this book. I am delete many a particular author. So whenever you delete author, so they are going to delete. That's why I'm going to delete the author team R52. So let's check 52. I am say 552. They return our API. All the books written by only 52. A team written these two books, physics and science, right? If you
Right.
want to delete, I'm going to delete them. So I'm going to delete author. There, let's going to delete author team. So if 52 deleted, that means this entry also deleted and this entry also must be deleted, right? We are saying ki all the operation must be deleted because no author, no book, right? This is the way we can implement. So let's delete some particular authors. Maybe delete. I am going to delete. I not pass ID here, right now? We have to pass ID parameter. Oh, notice here I am not any option to pass the ID, right? So here we have to miss to add this this parameter, right? Delete slash this, pass me the ID, right? Whenever you, until you are not saying this ID field, this parameter not mentioning, Swagger are not generating field for typing ID, right?
Right.
So you have to write, hey, delete mapping. I'm going to delete author, but which author ID? This ID is a map to this ID, right? So whatever I'm passing here, this ID come here, I pass the here. Let's restart this started. Let's refresh Swagger so that I can get the complete. No, notice yes, a delete have a ID as well as author both have a. So these are the, also notice Swagger gives some color coding. Get for blue, post for green, delete for red, right?
Right.
Good thing, red color. You are deleting something. Let's check here now. 52 is exist. Yes, 52. Our most probably team have written two science book. That's good. We are getting data right. And now
Right.
let's minimize them and go to delete let 52 and try out and just say, hey, can you delete this 52 and just test 52 now deleted. And again, let's verify this data is still API return or not 52, right? Tell
Right.
get API, and now we are not getting null. We are not returning anything, right?
Right.
And even let's verify from the database. So this is my author. Notice no 52 team exist, and even let's corresponding books. book. Notice these books of the science books are related, and check the mapping table. Mapping table. Notice mapping also related. So why these all operations? I am just deleting author and corresponding book table, corresponding author mapping table. Also delete query is performed, right? Why
Right.
it happened? Because in the mapping tables, in the whenever going to delete author, we mention key this has a relationship with the book, and I say operation cascade all means ki whatever operation I am going to do on this author table, insert, go to insert book. I am going to delete author, go delete author. So this say cascade operations internally going to delete your books and internally mapping table as well as. So this is the just small liner codes are maintaining all the relationship related activities, right?
Right.
And even you look the because we are written the delete query, notice they delete this book from the first, they delete from the mapping table, right? Delete from the mapping, then delete from books, then delete from author. Notice this order internally query executed. They are first deleted my mapping table. Why? Because this mapping table contain the ID of book ID and author ID, right? If I am going to delete particular book, so this entry must be deleted first, right? This is a child table. So first we have to delete mapping table. There is no mapping between the book ID and author ID. First deleted with the help of author ID, and then deleted book on the basis of book ID. Then deleted author on the basis of author ID. So this internally, I want to just delete one query, but internally they are firing multiple query to clean up all the relationship data, right? It's good.
Yeah.
Similarly, whenever I am say, hey, I want to get get ID of the only two, so internally I am saying, hey, get the author two. They are going to not just run the table, one table, author table. Internally, they are referring author table, mapping table, and book table because they need to return the book as well as, right? So if you look the query, internally they run select table from author table, and internally they are making some logical join. Notice the joining between author books table, joining concept, database joinings, and some where clause, and then they return all the possible data. So internally all the database joining foreign key, each and everything just taken care by your spring frameworks, or you can say the ORM tool or spring data. So nowadays, the life of Java developer is so easy if they are using any framework. If we are not using any framework, these things we are going to write, these things, whatever we are doing, manually we have to write the 3 SQL query to delete. Manually we have to write the select query from the joining table, each and everything. Whatever here framework doing, the things, we have to do programmatically by yourself. Whatever things internally your framework doing, right?
Right.
It's good. So maybe as you say, maybe tomorrow we'll discuss if I am going to similar thing without framework, I have to do manually. We'll do it, right? And then we compare both what this do, what we have to do, right? These things you can do without framework as well as, right? But framework just make your life easy. And why we believe on this framework? Because these frameworks are written by the well experienced persons, and these frameworks are used by couple of years, more than years, decades. These frameworks are going to use more than 10 years. These hibernate and database mapping are going to use. So almost if any bug, any problem, they have already fixed them. So almost they behave correct. Might be as a developer, I'm going to write some SQL query, maybe some joining, maybe foreign key, maybe something as per my knowledge, only we can write. Maybe I can leave some defect, give some defect, a bug problem, right? So due to that, we are rely in the some existing library exist. Maybe those library are famously used by the many years, and that have lots of community, and they are continuously working to fixing on those problem, right? Due to that, Spring, you can say, frameworks are one of the most popular frameworks to developing uh, microservice and the REST endpoints and the database communication, and lots of feature Spring framework offer, right? Till now, any question?
No.
So what we did today? Notice we are just doing couple of things here, right? Code wise. And we have developed complete one applications, right? Lots of relationships, lots of table, mapping table, joining table, select query, each and everything does. We have developed 4 endpoint, just a small couple of code, right? A small 4 method, right? What you are doing, you're not writing in the business logic, just using the framework method. Here only the main objective, our author detail, our book detail, and some metadata information, what kind of things you want, right? If you look this code, there is just 2 4 liner of code, right? And you develop the microservice with the REST API. Why I'm saying it is a microservice with the REST API? Because this is the independent one application. This application have a complete REST endpoint, get, update, delete endpoints, and we have a complete database, right? This database instruction happen from the framework. This is one small application. This application you can deploy on anywhere in any Docker instance, any cloud platforms. It works, right?
Right.
And good option, similarly, this is one application, you can develop another application, you can develop any other application. So microservice just say you develop your endpoint for a specific purpose. Today why we develop the author and books in the different, because this is a different context, different business scenario. Why we cannot use the same as an employee and email details? Because employee user management is a separate use case, author and books are the separate use case. So why we are mixing in one application, right? We can build, we can, instead of say "Ki, this is the one option, hey, we are going to build one application." One application can contain your user profile management, can contain your author and book management, means they have a, oh, one database, they contain the all the tables of this application, this application, this application, right? So this is we can develop such applications known as a monolithic application, or say combined REST API. Means ki from the same, if this application going to deploy in the one Docker instance, by default, these both endpoints, both services deployed, right? Might be I don't want to this service for particular customer. Particular customer only want a user profile. They don't want to author management. Still, your applications built in such way that both are the same code base. Whenever you deploy, both by default they are going to deploy it, right? So make more reusability of your component depend upon the customer, depend upon the use case. So say microservice say, hey, just build each function as a separate application. This is separate application for tracking the author detail. This is separate application that is tracking the your user profile. That is separate application that manage the employee details, address details, right? Each have a own
Right.
database, each have a own database, each have a own database, each have a own database. So now, instead of developing one big application, instead of developing one big application, we can develop simple application, one application, two application, three, right? So what happened if sometimes some customer want only one application? I can just say, hey, deploy this application. Someone want to two, deploy the two applications. Someone want to all, deploy all application, right? In future, let's say any modification, any changes coming in this application, we have changed this application, test only this application. We don't need to any kind of testing of this application, because we have not touched any code base, right? They are independent code base, independent application. If we are writing all in one application, monolith application, might be some code share by this to this or this to this, some variable you can use. If I am changing here, possibility you have to test this, you have to test all API of this, you have to test all API of this, you have to test all API of this, might be some impacted, right? So microservice is nothing, just one way to build your application as per use cases. Don't build application from the complete application in one goal. Just think what kind of function, what kind of user you can build, right? So let's example you are going to the make any shopping application. Let's you're going to the online shop. So you notice you have just visit only one website to shopping the complete, selecting the item and ordering the payment and receive the item, right? Look,
Right.
notice internally from user perspective, this is the only one application. Go online the website and select the product and select the payment mode and order the delivery and you receive the delivery, right? So
Right.
internally, if you look from customer point, only one application. But internally, all the catalog, all the product can be different application. This is the one different application. They are only managing all the product, add product, store product, delete product, modify product, all the things. Just giving the all the get API here to display all the my product, right?
Right.
You want to payment should be separate module that just receive the payment and to communicate to the banking system and do the payment. Similarly, order delivery is a different application, different microservice. So from user perspective, this is just only one application. But internally, from the each use case, each purpose, we have developed different small microservices. Microservices means different application, one application for one use case.
So what part is this? You call it application here in this example.
All are the microservice is a part of your application.
Okay. Okay.
Overall, your uh, user interact is the application, is the software. This is a software, right?
Yeah.
You go to the Amazon website, and we are selecting lots of product, selecting your card items, and doing payment. So my Amazon's website is a complete example of the microservice architecture. They are developed all the different pieces in the different microservices, and all microservices are communicating to build your complete software,
Right.
right? So maybe next couple of classes might be this payment details. Notice whenever you log in the Amazon, first you have to log in your user credentials, right? Username, password, right? The
Right.
might
Right.
this separate application way that maintain just your user detail, your username, password, and other thing, right? Whenever you are going to do payment detail required your user profile, right? So might be this microservice call to the user profile. Hey, I need a user detail, user address, right? For shipping microservice, for delivery microservice, that required user profile. Where what is the user address, right? So might be you don't know, but your user management microservice can talk to the delivery microservice. Delivery microservice need the user profile address, right? So
Right.
internally they call, hey user profile, can you give the address detail of this employee, this user detail? They receive and do processing. So later classes we also understand how these microservice we can start all the microservices and one microservice can talk to another microservice. Means ki one microservice can call the endpoints, right?
Mm.
Here, notice here we are might be cases. Here we are building the book or author in the same microservice. Might be book is that separate microservice, author is a separate microservice. Both can to talk to each other, right? Here talking
Right.
means just talking means ki we are going to call endpoint, right? Means ki one application are going to call to the, maybe this is my one application just calling get endpoint to get data of the different microservice. Microservice 1, this is microservice 2. Microservice 2 call, hey, I this the data from this microservice, call the get and you can get data. So these REST endpoints help us to communicate one microservice to another microservice. So due to that, we are learning how to build API. API is the application programming interface. Means ki one application can talk to another application via some rules. Get rule, post rule, delete rule, right?
Right.
So our purpose the of this building API so that anyone, maybe UI application, maybe any backend application, can call my endpoints and get data or create data, right?
Right.
So these are the we are learning as a microservice a REST API. Just try to build, learn API, and later part we also understand. Ki, hey, let's start the both microservice, two microservice. One microservice request to another microservice. Hey, I want to get some data. So how do they request? Via this REST endpoint, via this API. The API is used as a communication channel between the different microservices, right? This is microservice 1, microservice 2, microservice 3. All are the deployed in the this is the Google Cloud, maybe Amazon Cloud, maybe different private networks. They are deployed. They expose the endpoint, get endpoint, post endpoint, delete endpoint. They expose endpoint, they expose endpoint. Might be this is my applications. I want to some data from here. They call the hey, get endpoint, give me the data, right? This is the endpoint call. Hey, I did this. Now make a nice, beautiful mobile application, browser application where you can display all the required data as per the customer preferences. Right?
Mm.
The
Right.
endpoint, yeah, REST endpoint are the communication channel between the maybe this microservice needs some data from here, they can call here. This microservice talk to here, they can talk to here, right?
Right.
So these are the basic building block which we are studying. Microservice as a REST API is a just building block to developing complete microservice based application.
Right.
Right? Just theory about this microservice. Microservice is just nothing, just one application for a specific purpose. Microservice as think your requirement and think what number of basic different kind of use case customer want. According to the customer use case, customer requirement, you can build a small application. A small application means easily can be developed, easily can be tested, easily can be deployed, easily can be undeployed, easily can be maintained. If your code base is as small, easily anyone can understand, right? If you
Right.
write lots of code in all the module in one application, hard to understand, hard to debug, hard to test, right?
Right.
So this is the some benefit of microservice, some drawback. Each and everything we have not only benefit, but some drawback as well as right.
Right.
We discussed drawback like maybe if two data, this application required some data from here. This is the maybe this application deployed in the a geographical location. This deploy in the big geographical location. If they want some data, they have a some latency, time latency, network latency. Your application can be little bit slow as well as right. If this
Right.
data available in the locally, why they are going to remote data? The sometime some application required huge frequency of data from different microservice. Sometime they are going to do some different architecture as well as right. You cannot say
Right.
microservice is just fit for all the use cases. Much mostly nowadays applications are building microservice based architecture because due to the lots of good infrastructure, good network bandwidth, good uh, you can say speed of the networks, right? We can
Right.
use and lots of other benefit we are receiving. It's good for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any doubt, any questions with respect to today? What we learn? We learn just relationship between the two object, author and book. They will realize one author with a many books.
Yeah. Today.
Code perspective, very simple, very simple. Within a all code you written in just half an hour and develop tests. This is one you can say small microservice application that manage the author and book relationship, right?
Right, right, right. Oh, we can call it a microservice, but it's a small
This is
one.
microservice because they have a complete one endpoint available, all the endpoint available. They have a own business logic. They have a own database, each and everything, right? And this is
Mm.
a complete jar application. You can deploy this code in across the any cloud platform, maybe your machine or any machine. Anyone can access across the URL across the world, right?
Oh, okay, okay, yeah,
Okay, so we are good for the day. Or any doubt, any question?
yeah, it's good for the day. Yeah,
Let's do practice.
yeah, that'll
So
be great.
great. Thank you.